RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
All right. Oh, boy. I'm giving away the guest already. No, Ron isn't coming on right yet, even though his lower third is up. So, yeah, guys, this is Tara Devlin. Welcome. Welcome to hell. Yeah, I live in the United States of serfs and lords, so how else do you introduce the day? That's what happens when I wake up. I'm like, oh, another day here in this effed up country. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to take it, but I really know that if I was about 20 years younger, I'd probably get the fuck out of here. I don't know how much longer, because I received a tweet from Joey, our Joey of Joey Giraffe fame, and he was saying that where was it? Not a tweet, a text. After the shooting in Uvalde, Texas, the idiot governor, asshole Abbott, has increased his lead on Beto O'Rourke, who, he's not my favorite anyway, but he's increased his lead by 19 points? How is this possible? So, I don't know. USA is done. But anyway, we'll get to that. My name is Tara Devlin. Thank you so much for hanging out. This is unapologetic liberal talk on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, and humanity. We have a lot of work to do. Jesus Christ. And there's so many things going on, and that's why it gets overwhelming, frankly. But I get a little down about it. And one of the other things, this is why Ron wants to come on. Well, he wanted to. I wanted him to come on the show anyway, but he really has this topic close to his heart. AntitrustSummer.com. I agree. It's close to my heart too. But he's really involved in it, and we'll wait for him to come on, and we'll talk more about it. It's just one of the many problems we have here. And ultimately, it comes down to concentrated everything. Seems like the grand experiment in liberal democracy, which is hanging by a thread, hasn't been successful at this, because many people don't understand that the point of a liberal democracy is basically the antidote to concentrated wealth and power. And that's what it was supposed to be. So we're clearly well off the mark. Where is everyone? Says Ed. I don't know, man. Maybe they've given up on Tarabuster. The Tarabuster community quit. Well, hopefully they'll show up. That's what sucks about having... it sucks. Another thing that sucks, the fact that we don't have a daily show at a set time. It kind of makes it hard to that's what she said. No, hard to build a consistent community. Some days we'll have the chat room will be popping and hopping, but hopefully there'll be more people in the chat room. So if you're on any other channel, come on over to youtube.com/C for channel/Tarabuster. Usually, I know what you're saying. Oh, I'll start the show and the chat room will just start filling up. But yeah, hopefully, I don't know. Maybe I scared them away with my awesomeness. So and hopefully, when Ron gets here, we'll have more people hanging out. It would be kind of embarrassing, frankly, for me, because maybe I have to rethink my career choices at this point. Oh, don't trust me. I've been rethinking them. I've been rethinking my life choices, but I'm like, it's getting to that time where I'm like, I don't got that much long to go here, so. I'm not in the spring of my life. I'm not in the winter. I don't know where the hell I guess I'm in the fall. Sucks. But it's not, I've had a lot of water under the bridge here. Can't you tell? And sometimes I wonder. I wonder if I should just do what I've said. I keep saying I'm going to do, which is F off to Ireland, finally. By the time I get there, I'll probably just be sitting on a cliff, staring and not saying anything. So maybe, but that, it gets very depressing because I'm like, this is it. This is life. There's not another, I don't get another shot at this, at least not in this lifetime. Haha, you know what I mean? And what's the point of reincarnation? If there is reincarnation, if you don't remember it, who cares? Right? You'll still be sitting in a hole. Or wherever. I don't know where I'll be. I'll probably be cremated. You're funny. Zenny says, Tara, you are the best thing on YouTube. I hope I don't know. I hope you are telling your friends. I don't know if I'm the best thing, but I don't think I'm the worst. I'm not the worst. That's a good way to promote it. Not the worst. Right? All right. I see more people coming into the chat room now. It's all right. Ron will be here soon. And thank you, Jim, for your super chat. Jim has, he's, as usual, set us off on the right track. If you can, please become a patron at patreon.com/TaraDevil. And yes, Haiku says cat cast by the sea. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll move my ass and my 3 cats to Ireland, and I'll sit on a cliff, and we'll have a cat cast. And maybe I'll open a cat rescue in Ireland or something. Well, they'll probably have to rescue me, but so yeah, I don't know. There's so much to talk about. So Ron is going to call in at 9. That's in 15 minutes, but there's a few things that we were going to talk about. Oh boy, he's back. He's back, Haiku. You mimic Morning Joe and MSNBC. Look, you represent a party that is no better than the one you rail about. I wouldn't say no better. In fact, that's not true. I mean, the Democrats have a lot of problems, but they're not complete fascists who don't give a shit about children being murdered in school, or women dying in back alleys, or gay people being beaten to death, or, I mean, we can go on. They're not trying to overthrow democracy. Yeah, we got problems. The problem is money and politics. And there are some, sold out Democrats, but they're swimming in the pool of money, of the system that is corroded by money, which is the problem. But we have actual Democrats who don't even take corporate money because that's how much they understand that. And even though they're swimming in the pool corroded by money, they're doing it with people, just people's money, not corporate money. So until we get money out of politics, I guess that's a step in the right direction, right? And whoever this Tom is, that's the other thing about these characters, these right wing or whoever the fuck they are. They come on, and with that, they're no better bullshit, which is another Republican. It's also kind of a one of the Russian troll thing that they do. That's a Russian troll kind of perspective, where it's, don't bother, they're the same, everything's the same. You know what I mean? And I don't represent Democrats, frankly. In fact, I would, if the Democrats were a bunch of tax-cheating, draft-dodging, dictator-envying, wannabe dictator, scumbag, kiss-up, kick-down, Lindsey Graham types, or let's say the Democrats had a standard bearer that came down an escalator calling Mexicans rapists, I would be out of the Democratic Party, as everybody should be out of the Republican Party, because they're a bunch of fucking traitors. So don't tell me they're the same. Okay, one party is populated by traitors, okay, who are wedded to a lie that is the cancer in the body politic that is destroying democracy. The other party is not. So take that bullshit over to 4chan, where you came from. All right. Hello, everybody. I'm back, and I'm feeling better for a second. Yes, Zenny on the chat says, I was wondering where the MySpace Tom went to. Obviously, he went down a Q hole. Or, well, I don't know where else he came up from. They're no better. And that whole they're no better bullshit is so lazy, too. So lazy, you know? They're no better. Give me. How? You know, it's not two sides. One is a fucking bunch of traitors and the other aren't. One are not attacking the whatever the minority group du jour is, you know? One's doing that, the other isn't. So don't tell me they're this fucking same when, you know, and of course, you know, whatever. I don't know. What am I fucking even bothering with this person? You know what I mean? It's like, you know, as somebody who is part of one of the minority group du jours that they fucking attack, it's like as if you know, I mean, how could you say that's the same? You have one party that is literally banning books and telling people what they can say, what appropriate topics. And all those appropriate topics are, as long as you don't say anything gay. You know, they're passing laws about what you could fucking say. And meaning that they want to turn back the tide of progress, of decency, of humanity. And of course, they'll never succeed, but they don't mind killing a few people in the meantime for trying, right? That's what they're going to do. And before Ron gets in here, in fact, speaking of, where was I? I was on Twitter before. I just want to show you, speaking of, I mean, all over, because it's Pride Month, right? And Republicans are traitors, and there's a January 6th hearing going on that people are actually tuning into. And Republicans, which, you know, one party has a fucking propaganda channel called Fox News that is so afraid of the truth that they literally don't broadcast the hearing, right? And in case to minimize those who might tune out during commercials, they run their propaganda commercial free. I mean, you got to tell, if they're not these filthy billionaires who pay the millionaires to tell the morons that their problems are because of every policy that what might actually improve their lives. You know, if they're the ones telling you not to watch, then you know there's something you need to see. And how are people so fucking stupid? I know, right? I bet Ron will agree with Tom. And Tara will counter with Hillary that he might be a Russian troll. No. I'm sure, whatever. Is this another one on here? Omni-Man? Tara? I don't know if Ron says they're both the same. Well, we can have this conversation, though. I won't allow Omni-Man to put words in my mouth or Ron's mouth. So, all right, what was I saying? Yes, I was on Twitter. And, of course, I don't know why I go on there. To annoy myself? Let me see. I would have to say I know Ron a little bit more than you do. Scummy, whatever your name is. Let me see. And you know who this what's his fucking guy's name? Hold on. You see, I'm so prepared. Oh, because I was on Twitter because it's Pride Month, and what was I saying? Yeah, before I was distracted. Because it's Pride Month, and the propaganda channel doesn't want you to see the January 6th hearing. The right wingers are they're really off the chart with this grooming bullshit, right? So they're going to gay pride parades all over the place. And, not the ones who've been arrested for attempted terrorism at these gay pride parades, because that's all Republicans have, you see. That's the Republican base. They don't really have anything to offer except terrorism of one form or another. Prove me wrong. Really, prove me wrong. It's all terrorism, because either they're lying to your face, they're telling you the fucking election was stolen, shit like that. That's all terrorism. They're telling you caravans are coming to slit your throat. That's all terrorism, right? So, all over Twitter here, Andy, no, that's what I'm looking for. That dumb bastard, who's really, he's gay, see, all of the, if you're a member of a minority group in on the conservative, whatever the hell, you're considered, you're a human shield. They will put you in the forefront. They'll put you on Fox News. And because, they hide behind your identity like a human shield. Oh my God. So I don't know what this fucking Andy he was posting something from one of the gay pride parades. Here it is. He really hates himself, how there's a person who, oh, here it is. I got it. See this person? Who the fuck is that? Some rando jumps into the parade. Okay? Some random person jumps into the parade with a sign that says Mary Magdalene. The other sign says sex work. And they bend over. And Andy Ngo, whatever the hell his name is, he says, the partially nude transsexual. How the fuck does that person look like a transsexual? Who I don't know, but does that person did they say they're transsexual? The partially nude transsexual person who twerked in front of children at the Washington D.C. Pride March was also holding a sign that read sex work. Now, this clip is all over right-wing media. And this person is trans? Who the hell knows? But you see, he's saying that because that's another trigger word for Republicans. That's they want more dead trans people. The partially nude trans person. Like, Andy Ngo gives a shit about children. Like he cares. How about the children? Here, I got some children that he should worry about. Hold on a second. No, he doesn't care if children have to endure live shooter drills, right? Or where else? Yeah, he doesn't care about children getting murdered in school. I was looking for this picture of, oh, well, how about, here's some children he wouldn't give two shits about. Right? The Lauren Boebert's children, right? Or all these other representatives, these Republicans who love posing with assault weapons, and their children, teaching their children to jerk off with assault weapons. But some rando, obviously, who knows, sex worker jumps into the pride parade with a sign that says sex work and then starts bending over. That's the representative of the entire gay community now, and trans community. So, but there's children there. Who gives a shit that a child sees somebody's ass, okay? They have asses too. And they will grow up and hopefully they'll have sex with somebody. You know, they'll connect with another human being. They won't have to beat themselves for it, you know, or feel ashamed by it. Who cares? And maybe they're gay too. Who effing cares? I would much rather they not be turned into mincemeat in school where they can't be identified. They have to be identified by DNA. You know, that to me seems a bit more offensive. And as if they give a shit about children. They don't get, if they wanted to reduce somebody having turn to sex work, then worry about the kiss up, kick down economics, right? What about social services? How about we don't live in the least upperly mobile country of all the Western democracies? How about that? You know what I mean? But they want more shame, more division. So every murderer who murders, you know, with assault weapons, that's not supposed to represent all the good upstanding gun nuts, right? But we have, you know, this is what they do. This is what they do. Now, I have to say, I did speak too soon, not too long ago, when I said that the Republicans weren't getting the same old bang for their buck out of gay bashing anymore. And, you know, I really did put my foot in my mouth in that way, because they, you know, once they have a good thing, you know, a good divisive wedge, they're not going to let go of that. They will hold on to that like a rabid dog with a chicken wing. But this was not I saw this clip on Andy No's Twitter feed. I don't know why these right-wingers, they come up in my feed like I told you all about. It's not like I follow him. I don't. But I don't know. I'm more concerned about these fascists, these offensive fuckers. Oh, see, Andy No is upset that Antifa, the mythical Antifa, supposedly, according to this self-loathing gay person, Andy No, went to Idaho in response to the LGBTQIA Pride event. Far-right group Patriot Front was arrested. Violent Portland Antifa member who has a pen. What? Who cares? So Antifa went there too, but maybe they weren't there to cause mayhem. And first of all, the other thing is, where is Antifa? Where's their headquarters? Where do I sign up? You know what I mean? Andy sees Antifa everywhere. It's like Antifa. Antifa here, Antifa there. Antifa up the wazoo. Where? Where is this Antifa? I want to sign up officially because every patriotic American should be anti-fascist. So where do I send my dues, Andy? I keep asking. They never seem to... They never respond with an answer. Where do we go for Antifa meetings? Am I wrong? Where's Antifa? And no wonder. So he's upset that Antifa, so Antifa went there and no one arrested them? Because maybe the Antifa's in your head. Like the Antifa at the Capitol riot, or the Capitol insurrection, excuse me. So why? Yeah, that's the other thing. They don't mention back to the Capitol riot. Oh wait, I'm just waiting for Ron. But no mention of Antifa during all the hearings. I haven't heard one Antifa being arrested there. Okay, hold on. Here we go. On the phone, Ron Placone. Ron, are you there?
Tara.
All right. Can you hear me? Good. You hear me. Of course you hear me.
Fine. Am I coming in?
I hope so. We'll find out in a second. It takes this is like a 10-second delay, but we'll find out. So let me see. Hold on. Yeah. I mean, I hear you fine, but let me see does everybody hear Ron on the phone? Say something, Ron.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I can't see you, but good to be here.
Yes.
Good to be here on the phone.
Yes.
Coming
all right.
in from the lovely San Pedro, California.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Okay. Well, anybody on the friggin' chat, give me a thumbs up. Okay. Everybody says good to go. Great. Yes. They're like my co-producers.
Sweet.
Yes. So thank you, Ron, for
I'm
calling
the same
in.
way. Yeah. I don't have an on-site producer either, so I gotta just wait until I see it. And
right.
I count on the chat too.
And I hope everything, you know what I mean. I hook everything up and hope it goes, and you never know. Sometimes, we get. I don't even know how things get messed up, but you know how it is. Anyway, so Ron.
Oh yeah.
What's going on? It's been a long time.
It has been a long time. I hope you and the cats are well.
We're fine.
And I hope all's well out in New York. I'm bummed out we couldn't hang out when I was in town, but I was in town so briefly. Usually when I'm in New York, I take a couple days. But this time around, it's still a weird kind of state of affairs in the world. So it was a shorter. Everything was just a little shorter and a little weird. I mean, it was still fun, but I'll have to get back to New York sooner than later. But there is a big happening going on right now because there are two really great antitrust bills in Congress right now that have a really solid chance at passing. In fact, Reuters put out an article today saying that both the House and the Senate are saying they got the votes to pass this thing.
Really?
This
wow.
is written by...
That's incredible.
Yeah, and these bills were written by Amy Klobuchar and Chuck Grassley. So it was written by a Democrat and a Republican. Yeah. And look, I'll be honest, Amy Klobuchar in the digital rights space, and Chuck Grassley too, neither of them have the greatest track record. They've had some bills in the past that I've been critical of. This bill is a good one. I mean, I've read these bills. They are good bills. And John Oliver covered it on his show over the weekend. I recommend everybody check that segment out. They did a very, very good job on this segment. And it is funny, too. So they really break it down, and they do a funny job doing it. But the two bills are casually referred to as Oma and Akoa. What Oma does is, so basically right now, if you have an app and you want to get in the App Store or you just want to use an alternative app on your phone, Google and Apple, they pretty much have that lockdown. That is their thing. And so any alternative app needs to pay exorbitant fees and commission fees to them just to be listed there, just to be utilized. And then the software may or may not work because they dictate what software works on people's devices. This bill ends that practice. It's an unfair, monopolistic practice. It gives a level playing field to alternative apps, and it lets you, the user, decide which software works on your device. The other bill, Akoa. So when you search for something on Google or Amazon in particular, Amazon and Google will favor their own products and services above everything else. And then what Amazon in particular does is they'll make generic products, and then they'll feed you that first. An example that they actually gave on the John Oliver segment was, say there's a designer bag that's really popular and people like it. Well, Amazon knows that people like that bag because they harvest your data.
Right.
And then what they do is they get someone to make a generic version of that bag. They offer it for cheaper. And if you're searching for that bag, you're going to see those results before everything else. And Amazon does this when it comes to everything.
Right.
Google does a thing where they data scrape information from other websites and feed that to you first in the search results, taking traffic away from other web and online entities, which hurts their business, obviously. So these are monopolistic practices, and these bills go to break them up. It says, no, when someone searches something, you need to just treat that like a level playing field. You need to list all the third-party vendors with equal footing, and this will help out consumers. It'll help out people online. It'll help out vendors, obviously. In fact, Amazon sent a letter to a bunch of their third-party vendors saying, hey, we don't like this bill. You should really be against this bill.
Really?
And the third-party vendors emailed them back, and they said, go screw yourself. We're not against this bill. What are you talking about? This benefits us. So these are two really solid bills that, even though I know this is a digital rights thing, it's a little bit niche, but this is going to have a huge impact on the future of the internet because, it's kind of like, what kind of internet do we want, Tara? Do we want the internet that's an information democratizing superhighway like it's supposed to be and what it started as, what made it cool in the first place? Or do we want it to keep descending into a monopolistic surveillance capitalist hellscape? I want the former. I want the internet to stay cool, and these bills are a huge, crucial first step in doing that. Another comparison that people like to make, there was a time where AT&T had a pretty much a monopoly on our phone lines. And, you and I both remember those days, Tara. We remember how expensive long-distance calling was, and it was for no reason.
Absolutely.
They just had a monopoly. They would try to kill all competition. Well, some antitrust law broke them up. And then what happened? Well, what happened after that was we got cool inventions like the answering machine.
Yeah.
Then we got a cool invention called the modem. That kind of helped lead to the World Wide Web as we know it today. I'm not suggesting that if AT&T wasn't broken up, we never would have gotten the internet. We might not have. We probably still would have. But the point is when you have these gross monopoly, anti-competitive practices, it really does stifle innovation, and it stifles our potential just as a society. And by the way, this also hurts us as content creators, because we are at the mercy of Google. We are at the mercy of a YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
And we all know that YouTube has their algorithms. They favor corporate news over independent news because they want people to buy subscriptions for YouTube TV. And who's on YouTube TV? CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. Not you, not me. So we get buried in the algorithm. That's by design. YouTube didn't used to be that way.
Right.
But since about 2017 or so, they've really been that way. And it continues to get worse and worse and worse. Well, this type of antitrust legislation, while it doesn't go after content specifically, it does break up these juggernauts. It enforces some antitrust legislation to break up these juggernauts and take away some of their power. And look, people across the political spectrum, and that's why there's tons of bipartisan support for this bill, people from, Bernie Sanders all the way to, who's the one? There's a big libertarian, I think Josh Hawley's in favor of it. And
yes,
so
that's right.
All across the political spectrum. And it's because, look, even though we might disagree on some of the solutions for this stuff, one thing I think people across the political spectrum agree on is that these big tech companies have way too much freaking power. Everyone feels that way except for their lobbyists. So go to antitrustsummer.com, sign the petition, rally our representatives. They promised to vote. They promised that they have the vote, but here's the deal. They haven't scheduled it yet, and guess who has to bring it to the floor? Chuck Schumer. Guess who has a daughter who's an Amazon lobbyist? Chuck Schumer. So we're not out of the woods yet. And here's the other rub here, Tara. If we wait, I mean, they promised to vote next week of June 20th. If we wait and we kind of let this fall by the wayside, let's just be honest, the powers that be would rather we do that. Then what's going to happen is they're going to go on recess, which of course they deserve. Congress and the Senate, they've been working so hard. They deserve
right.
But they're going to go on recess. Then they're going to come back, and it's all going to be about the midterms. And this is going to just fall by the wayside. We know that's what's going to happen. So we have to win, and we have to win now. We have to keep shouting so loud that they have to bring this to the floor, and they have to keep the promise. Go to antitrustsummer.com, sign the petition. It takes about 40 seconds.
Right.
Sign the petition, goes right to your representatives. You got to see where they stand on it. Tell your friends, share it everywhere. That's antitrustsummer.com.
This could come to the floor next week, you're saying, or not? So it's now or never.
Yeah, no, it could. It could. I mean, it really is like now or never. I mean, now, like not like, oh my God, if it's not next week, it's over. But but they promised this week. Let's hold them to it. And if not this week, hopefully at least they schedule it, because the big thing is if we don't get it before the August recess, that's bad. Like that, because they're just going to push it. They're just going to brush it to the side.
So it does have enough
vote
votes.
Next week.
It has enough votes to pass. You said
that's what they say. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. According to a couple reports from Reuters, one that came out today, they
oddly
have
encouraging.
Because there's a ton of. Yeah, I mean, there's
weird.
a ton of bipartisan support. I mean, and usually. Look, usually when something has a lot of bipartisan support, that means it's a bad idea that like they're both selling together, or it has something to do with war, because that's usually something that both parties agree on.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's an exception. I mean, this is one of the exceptions where, hey, this is actually good legislation. Or even, Republicans are saying, yeah, we got to rein in this big tech stuff. They have way too much power. This is way too far. Even we know this goes too far.
Wow. So, that's pretty amazing.
This is a good... I mean, it really is. When you can get, especially some of the more, libertarian-leaning people, when you can get them to say, yeah, we need some antitrust here, that's when okay, A, this is incredibly necessary, and B, this is good legislation. And so antitrustsummer.com. Go there, sign the petition. Please, we got to do everything we can to make sure that this vote is had next week, like Chuck Schumer promised.
So he did. So what? So he did promise this, because I will call him. I mean, he's my senator. Yeah. So
he said we were going to get it the week of June 20th.
Really?
Of course, we haven't heard a confirmation on that yet.
Okay.
And this is time sensitive. We can't wait. We got to get the vote when it's promised, because if we just let them waffle on this, if we just let them skate into their break, they're just going to be in midterm mode, and they're going to forget about this. And here's the deal. Even though this bill has a lot of support from people in office, guess who really has their ear too? The big tech lobby. They got their ear big time, and we know it. So they're going to do what they can to stop this bill from passing. They've been spreading all kinds of nonsense. They're making these claims like, oh, well, if you pass this bill, we won't be able to offer you Amazon Prime anymore.
Oh, God,
you won't be able to use Google Maps.
Yeah.
Which is a bunch of hogwash. First of all, I use Google Maps. I have a terrible sense of direction. I use it all the time. But look, this does not stop any entity from offering the products and services that they want to offer. What these bills do is it stops the monopolistic practices that Amazon and Google and Apple are doing that makes it impossible for anyone else to compete.
Right.
That's what it does.
Yeah.
They can offer whatever they want. They can have Google Maps, they can have Amazon Prime, whatever. What they can't do is favor their products and services over everyone else when you're just searching for something.
Right.
That's what they can't do. What they can't do is give themselves a huge advantage and put their thumb on the scale for themselves in an app store. The users get to decide. That's what they can't do. That's what these bills do, and this is huge antitrust legislation that will play a huge role in the shape of the internet for the future.
Yeah.
So please, antitrustsummer.com.
Wow. I mean, how did you get involved with this? Did you just hear about it? And because I see you're doing a lot of videos. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been paying attention to it for a while, and Fight for the Future has been leading this fight. I collaborate with Fight for the Future on occasion. I've collaborated with them for net neutrality. I've collaborated with them for banning facial recognition, and I'm collaborating with them on this fight, to try to make sure that these bills get the vote. And hopefully we're gonna get a win here. And please, we need your help. Go to antitrustsummer.com, sign. It takes less than a minute, and it is a huge, huge deal. And we got a shot. I mean, look, when you're on the left, we all know wins are so few and far between.
I know.
We had a couple.
That's why I need this win. You know what I mean? I need this win. I need it for my spiritual well-being.
Needs this win.
We do.
I feel you.
I'm just sick of it, frankly. Yeah, it would be great for once that the people get a freaking break for once over these goddamn billionaires. I'm so sick of it. I can't even. I'm like, it's up to the tip of my head. I can't take it anymore. I don't even know. It's yeah.
I hear you. And the thing with these bills is it's one of those things. Let's be real about what our government is. Our government is owned by Wall Street. Wall Street. I mean, I call it Wall Street Team R and Wall Street Team D. They own both parties. We know this. It's set up so that no one else can compete. We know this. But you know what? Every now and again, they can't get away with everything. Every now and again, they gotta concede something to we the people. They gotta be like, okay, we gotta give this one to the people. And when you see what these big tech near monopolies are doing, they gotta rein it in. And with all the flaws that the United States has, and God knows there's a lot. I mean, we could be listing things all night. But despite all that, there is a history in this country of antitrust legislation.
Right.
There's a history of when it happens and when it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
When it happened with AT&T, I mentioned that earlier. Look what happened. We got all kinds of great stuff when that happened.
Yeah.
It was awesome, that antitrust legislation that broke up AT&T's monopoly. Look at when we failed to do it. We failed to do it with the banking industry.
Yeah.
Look at how that's going. We failed to do it with certain segments of the housing industry. Look at how that's going. Now, I know there's other factors at play with all these things, but failing to enforce antitrust legislation when we had the chance, that played a big role. Well, now we got another shot, and it's in the digital sphere. And as we are becoming more and more of a global village, this is infinitely important. This connects to climate change. This connects to the way we work. This connects to the type of lives we're able to have. So please, antitrustsummer.com.
So
I know I've been saying it a lot.
No, it's good, but you have to. And but as far as
it's a catchy URL. That helps.
Yes. But as like you mentioned, the rest of the world. Do you know what the laws are about this kind of stuff in let's say the EU? Because I saw something about how the United States could learn something from EU antitrust laws, but I didn't really dive into it much. But do you know anything about that?
I don't know. I don't know all the details about that. But yeah, I do know that the EU does have some different approaches with several aspects of digital rights. I mean, I know that there's a lot of parts of the EU where they're really leaning into things like municipal broadband, which I'm like a big advocate for here. A lot of places over there, they kind of get it already.
Right.
And they're kind of like leading the way on that. There's little villages in Italy right now. They're building like state-of-the-art broadband to try to get people to live there and work remotely. Like they're trying to like get people to invest in the villages.
Where? In Italy? Oh, okay. Oh.
Yeah, one of the places is
get
called
out of here.
Santa Fiora. The other place, Well, yeah, you can go to Italy. I mean, they are.
I can't
they are
speak
looking for
Italian.
people. Well, you'll learn. I mean,
know.
Duolingo. That's
I'll
what I
fucking
use.
learn. I'll learn. Yeah, I'll learn it. Yeah, that's
But,
true.
So yeah, I mean, I'm not familiar with like the specifics on the EU when it comes to this.
I was just
this
wondering
thing specifically, but I do know that Amazon, Apple, Google, they're very dominating companies here.
Yeah.
And so, bringing this legislation, it will have a positive effect on the world because it'll have a positive effect on the internet, which impacts the world, and it will be a huge step forward for this country when it comes to antitrust legislation. So, antitrustsummer.com, folks. Can't say it enough.
And it also will, I mean, as we're joking around, we need a win. It's really true, though. I think that the fact that there are so many monopolies in general, it does something to the American psyche in a way where we think that this is the way it's supposed to be. That it really is about concentrated wealth and power and corporate power. Because even in New York. New York is looking like any other town half the time now. You walk, you don't have like that local businesses anymore. You have the every corner has a Dwayne Reed on it. You know what I mean? It's just the same, and then like whatever. Just I'm trying to think. What's that? Like Red Lobster and stuff like that all over the place. It's just. And you can go anywhere for Red Lobster. You know what I mean? You don't come to New York for that shit.
No, I know.
But there they are. It's like everywhere is just it's just big corporations eating up the little guy. And as far as Amazon's concerned, I mean, Amazon is a behemoth beyond reason at this point. And it needs to be broken up. It really should be. But it doesn't seem even to be on the table.
Well, and look at, so most online commerce, pretty much 90-some% of searches go through Google. So that's all Google.
Right.
And then most purchases, I think it's at least 50%, is straight up Amazon.
Yeah.
So out of everything purchased online, at least 1 out of 2 things is going to be through that website. I mean, so it's like,
right.
They're not just some private entity. They're not just some business in a sea of businesses. They are the juggernauts. And, they need to be broken up. Like, there's nothing at all competitive or healthy about this. And we need antitrust here. That's why the laws exist.
Yeah.
So,
but they haven't been followed, though. In so many years, they haven't been followed.
Right.
It's just and that's how Amazon, it seems to me, I don't know all the details, but how Amazon has been able to grow to this degree. I mean, they shouldn't.
Well, part of it too is that we're dealing with the digital space.
Yeah, it's like a whole new thing.
When it comes to it's a whole new thing. And I mean, even though the internet has been around a pretty hot minute now, but it's still in many ways. Technology is ahead of the law. Like, we don't really have all the laws to meet the moment with the things that the internet, presents us with. So, in a way, it's kind of like we're learning as we go, which can be very overwhelming, also very exciting and very intimidating too. And that's just this is just another testament to all that. And all too often, especially in the contemporary United States, I always say, look, we're governed, when it comes to digital rights, we're governed by 2 types of people. People who don't understand the internet, and then people like Marjorie Taylor Greene who can't handle the internet.
Right.
And those are the people making our laws and policies around the freaking internet. So you see that all too often where, like, you'll see a policy proposed by, whoever. Like, I've seen some bad ones, pretty much across the spectrum. And a lot of times it's because they're writing as if the internet is cable television. And it's like, okay, this would be a policy that might work if you're applying it to a radio or a television in like 1992. But this is the internet. This would not work here because to do this, you would have to end encrypted messages that endangers all of us. So there's all these things where they just don't really know what they're doing when it comes to this space. there are over 70 digital rights organizations in the United States. I get to collaborate with one of them. And you would think that elected officials would take a minute to ask them. They have a very open door. They'll get back to you right away. But most of the time, that doesn't happen. Occasionally, it does. And when it does, good things happen. This is one of those times where it did. That's why every digital rights organization in the country is working adamantly to make sure these bills get passed.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm looking at an article. It's saying that there is the EU outside of the tech sector is sticking to well understood and enduring competition law principles. By contrast, U.S. antitrust enforcement agencies are reinterpreting vague standards, blah, blah, blah. Then it talks about the bill, where a bill introduced by U.S. Senator Amy Klobuchar would prohibit dominant firms from using their position to disadvantage their competitors. So Klobuchar's, and then they're calling it an ill-conceived proposal. See, I'm seeing all these, of course, big, I guess, billionaire type press releases that are saying things
they're doing everything they can.
Yeah. Where was it?
They're making up all kinds of nonsense.
Right. There's somebody, I just saw something that said, Summers, former Treasury chief worries about a tilt towards populism. This is in Bloomberg. Summers warns of hipster antitrust push. Hipster antitrust push. You see what I'm saying? Like they're just branding it as hipster. I don't think you would call Amy Klobuchar or what's his name? Chuck Grassley?
Chuck Grassley.
A hipster.
Yeah. He's a Republican in Iowa.
You know what I mean? Fuck
all
this.
Those hipster Iowa Republicans.
Right. I mean, it's just, I'm so sick of this shit. I can't even tell you. Shut the fuck up, Bloomberg. Hipster antitrust. God, so how much longer are we going to take this shit? This is what I say. Like, how much more do you need, motherfuckers out there? How much more? You want it all. That's what it is. That's really the bottom line. They want it all. How come? This never stops. It never stops.
Well, you know what? You know what? Maybe it's an unintentional self-own because you know what hipsters are really into? What? They're really into old vintage shit.
Right.
And you know what happened the last time we had antitrust laws in this country? We had a solid middle class.
Yeah.
So maybe
right.
You're right. Maybe in that way it is hipster.
Yeah.
It's hipster calling back to the working class, calling back to when corporations didn't have full control of everything and the working class was represented.
Right.
So there you go.
Yeah, I just can't take it.
Call it a hipster bill all you want.
Hipster. The hipster antitrust. So they'll call it woke, right? Woke antitrust. I'm so sick of that word, too. But, I mean, antitrust is as old as, like you're saying. It is entrenched in American history as Teddy Roosevelt, the trust buster, right? That's what he was known for. And, of course, I do remember the bells being broken up and that being touted as an American thing, that this is what we do here. We don't cultivate monopolies. We cultivate competition, and this is how we protect the American worker. We spur innovation, and it's in the democratic spirit too, to not allow the concentration of this kind of power, really. So, and that's what I mean as far as this is good for if this passes, and hopefully it will. It's good for the American psyche to see that, because a lot of people don't even realize that this is not. It's really it's another one of these patriotic imperatives, as far as I'm concerned. So you don't cultivate monopolies. You don't allow it, because we're supposed to be this kind of system is supposed to be the antidote to that, because everybody in nobody out. We're supposed to be able to have, a chance and not have to go fight a giant behemoth that's just going to stomp on you if you're trying to invent something or bring something to market, or it's like but I feel like we're constant. It's just one thing after another, and it reminds me of Walmart too. How with the Walmart destroying local businesses, and this is what we're dealing with constantly, and it never works out good for the small person, but it's really about time that something kind of skewed in our favor a little bit. I know I'm going to call Chuck Schumer this week. I hope that other people do. Do you know when the vote is supposed to be taken, or is it's not set, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't give a specific date. They promised the week of June 20th. I mean, Chuck Schumer's got to bring it to the floor. That's his gig. So he's got to bring it to the floor. He promised he would do it week of June 20th. We haven't heard an announcement yet, and also none of us are blind to the fact that Chuck Schumer, one of his daughters is a lobbyist for Amazon.
Jesus
the
Christ.
Other daughter, I believe, is on the board.
Is a lobbyist for Google. Oh shit!
So yeah.
My God.
So yeah. So he's got a lot of big tech conflicts of interest.
Unreal.
Right in his own. Yeah. So I mean that's our politics.
Yep.
I mean, it's like all
that's
these people.
Them. Yeah,
like
that's
they are. They are powerful people. They are. The corporations buy them. I mean, that's
legally
how it is.
bribed,
and it's across the board.
Yep.
And yeah.
Well, they don't call him the senator from Wall Street, right? For nothing. That's what his nickname is, Senator from Wall Street. So yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, totally, and so. When you get some good legislation like this, you gotta really do everything you can to get the win, and you really gotta force them to take this vote, to vote the way they promised they would, and to get this into law, because it is incredibly necessary, and we got a chance at winning this one, folks.
Well, that is encouraging, and I have to say I do need the win. So.
Right.
Anyway, so I saw that you're going on tour, or are you going? Where are you going?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm doing a festival in Iceland. So I don't know if there's any Iceland listeners, but yeah, I'm gonna be doing the Reykjavik Fringe Festival at the end of the month.
Oh my God!
You can grab tickets for that over at my website, ronplacone.com. My shows are on June 28th and June 30th. And then end of July, I'm going to be in the Northwest with comedian Graham Elwood. Him and I are both on the road. And we're going to be in Portland, Oregon on July 28th, Seattle, Washington, July 29th, and Vancouver, British Columbia, July 30th. You can get tickets at my website, ronplacone.com, for all those shows. And I look forward to seeing you on the road. And then that's going to be it for me for 2022. That's the extent of my touring for this year, but I'll be back at it in 2023.
Have you ever been to Iceland?
Yeah, it'll be. No, it'll be my first time.
That's supposedly beautiful.
Year, I did a lot.
It's it's more beautiful than Queens, I hear. I'm just kidding.
I have heard that. Yeah, I love Queens though. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. It's kind of random, like with the pandemic and stuff. I was off the road for 2 years. And for whatever reason this year, I was just like, all right, we're getting back to it. I'm only going to cold places, though.
Right.
Like I did stuff in Canada, and I did some domestic stuff, too. But it was like Canada and then Iceland. Like, I'm only going to cold places.
Well, yeah, I would.
Hawaii called and said, no, thank you.
Right. That's true.
No, they didn't call. I would have said yes. But
right.
But
that's funny. Yeah, I mean... I don't know. I got to get my ass out of the tri-state area. So, anyway, I've been feeling very much like I wish I was 20 years younger so I could get the hell out of this country. But, it's really depressing, frankly, but thank you for telling me about this, because this might be something that will give me some hope. Frankly, that things could happen, but I'm under the impression, though. I'm of the not just the impression. I'm of the belief that things are not going to happen much until people like Chuck Schumer are gone, out of the way. Chuck Grassley. That's why I'm shocked. Chuck Grassley is a co-sponsor of this bill. I wonder what happened. I wonder what happened to him. What did somebody threaten him? Did somebody threaten his life? I mean, what happened? It's very bizarre.
I mean, hey, right? I mean, it's one of those things. And this guy, him and Klobuchar have co-sponsored several bills in this space. This is the first one where I've been like, yes, this is a good bill.
It's weird.
So,
it's very bizarre. I'm like,
look,
where's the is this a trick here? What's happening? It's weird. Right?
Yeah, no, I feel you. I mean, yeah, you always do kind of have to pinch yourself a little bit, and that's why I kind of just dove in so hard on this.
Right.
It's like, look, I like we've all looked at this. We're all kind of on the defense here. This is legit. This is a win that we have a chance at getting. Let's get this one. We need it.
Right.
So yeah.
Because let me ask you.
Hopefully we get a.
Yeah, well, Holman, let me ask you a question about you might know. I'm looking, about the net neutrality. What happened with that? I haven't really been up with it, but I know that we got rid of Ajit Pai. But okay.
We have net neutrality in California, and I'm pretty sure you have it in New York.
Yeah, are they doing it like that, like state by state, or? Huh.
Well, that's kind of what happened. Unfortunately, it's not the most ideal thing. We'd be better off with federal. But when they had that court ruling, and this was before Trump was out of office even, this was still with an Ajit Pai FCC, they took it to court, and the court basically said that we're going to uphold them repealing net neutrality. They're able to do that, but states can pass net neutrality laws, and that would supersede their laws.
God,
so California passed one. I'm pretty sure New York did.
Right.
And they've challenged, I can't speak for every state, but I know here in California, they challenged our net neutrality law in court, and they have continually lost time and time again, which is good.
Yeah.
And even if you don't live in California or New York, it's very good that these states have net neutrality laws, because here's the deal. These big cable companies operate in the entire country. They're not going to roll out anti-net neutrality packages if they can't roll them out in New York and California, where you have such a huge customer base.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's kind of like taking them out at the knees. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like it's not going to stop them entirely, but it's definitely slowing them down big time, and that's a good thing. And in the meantime, Gigi Sohn was Joe Biden's appointment to the vacant FCC seat. Because right now the FCC is in a 2-2 deadlock, 2 pro-net neutrality seats, 2 anti-net neutrality seats. Gigi Sohn is the commissioner Biden appointed. It was a good appointment. She is beyond qualified. She has a great track record. She's a good digital rights mind. She's, has experience in the field. Perfect candidate. But they are smearing her. They are doing everything they can to delay her appointment. They're stalling. And they're bringing up the most ridiculous thing. I mean, they brought up she made a tweet about Fox News.
Okay.
They made this tweet that she's not a fan of Fox News. I guess because she has eyes and ears. But yeah, right. No kidding. But they made this big deal that she's not big on Fox News, so they're worried how that would inform her acting as an FCC commissioner. And it's like, are you kidding me? Wow! And they had to pick through her personal tweet from years ago.
Of course they do. That's what they do. Yeah.
And she even said, she's like, it's not like I was in some position. Like this is just my personal take.
Right.
And then they tried to use like some other she was voting on this thing that was pretty complicated, and she took a position that might not have been the best thing, but it was pretty complicated. I mean, they're just using all these things to try to discredit her when she is very qualified. Let's keep in mind, Ajit Pai had no qualifications whatsoever.
Right.
That guy was just,
of course,
he was just a lobbyist. He was just, and so was Tom Wheeler for that matter. And by the way, I mean, look, Ajit Pai, I mean, Trump appointed him head, which was terrible, but hey, even Obama brought him into the fold in the first place. So that guy was totally unqualified, was willing to do the bidding of big cable, and he had support from both parties. Meanwhile, here's Gigi Sohn, completely qualified. I don't think Biden personally gives a hoot. I think Biden just had to keep the promise he didn't want to keep. He promised a pro-net neutrality FCC. They're kind of holding him to it, and he's not really acting with any urgency, probably because he started his campaign with a bunch of executives from Comcast. So, you know, it's a mess, but they've managed to just stall for a historically long time.
It's I mean, they never
actually, I'm pretty
right. It's just, how do they get away with it? God.
Not enough people scream about it. I mean, you just have a handful of websites and you know, digital rights geeks like me,
that's true.
And that's it. And it's like, you know, people aren't screaming about this. People aren't, you know, people didn't scream about net neutrality until we needed to cement it into law, and then they didn't scream about it again until we lost it. So, you know, it's one of those things, but that's basically where that is. They're just dragging their feet as long as they can. This has been historic. I mean, this is never, I'm pretty sure he was tied, like the last time it took this long to appoint a commissioner was like, I forget which administration it was. I want to say Nixon, but I don't think that's correct. But it's been about that long. Like, it's been like about 50 some years since it's taken this long. And I mean, don't quote me on this, but I wouldn't be surprised if now he has the record, because it's been 2 years just about, and it still hasn't happened. So it's like, I mean, this is historic that it's taken them this long to appoint somebody to the FCC, and it's absolutely criminal. And that's the only thing stopping us from getting net neutrality back. Jesus
Christ. Well, I mean, that's another thing. You're talking about it, and I'm like, nobody's screaming about it. I haven't brought it up. I didn't know about it. Really, I mean, it's been on my mind. I just didn't know the whole backstory. But I don't hear this on any corporate media channel. Well, and we never will. So they'll just talk about gas prices and the inflation. It's like the same stories, recycling over and over. But there's so many other important things that we need to talk about that never ever get on top of mind anywhere. That's why, you know, we need this kind of digital, you know, a level playing field in the very least. So, like what we're talking about with the...
it's so hard because so many people are just trying to keep their head above water every day.
Exactly.
I mean, you have so many people, and especially with, you know, it's not like what's going on with inflation and gas prices isn't important, you know? I mean, it's just crippling people economically, and we know that. So, you know, it's one of those things. You have these people, like so many people in this country are just living paycheck to paycheck.
Well, that's the problem.
And, you know, can barely keep their head above water.
Yep.
And, you know, so...
That's the problem.
It's really hard to kind of get anything done or to even rally for like a better... for like a better tomorrow, or just doing the absolute bare minimum. You know, I mean, this is the bare minimum is to just get a promised FCC commissioner. That's like the bare minimum. Like, that's not a big ask, yet it hasn't happened. It just hasn't happened. I mean, it's just a historic level of inaction. And I mean, at this point, I wouldn't be shocked if somehow he went his entire term without doing it. I mean, I don't. That would be unprecedented. But I mean, who knows?
Yeah, and they don't fight back.
They're in a deadlock.
Right, but they don't. But Biden could talk about it. He could use his bully pulpit and bring this out, and no one, you know, he doesn't do it. It's like the Democrats just don't fight. They don't fight for what's right, it seems. I don't know. And like the
Well-
Republicans can just get away with stacking the Supreme Court or stopping them from putting people on the Supreme Court, like Merrick Garland, Merrick the Meek, and they just don't fight. They just don't. They just like, oh, okay, well, they got that. They were able to stop us, so oh well, And it just seems the same way.
There's always an excuse. There's always an excuse. And it's been going on. I mean, it's not like this is new. Like, this has been going on for 30-some years. And it's because, look, the Washington Generals aren't trying to win the basketball game. They're really not.
Right. Well, I mean, some of them are, I think. But it's just, I feel like the whole system is broken. And it's money. That's the problem. If we didn't have money in politics, the people who are there for their own, to feather their own nests, so to speak, would be gone. They'd be off, somewhere else, finding some other scam. And that's why Trump is.
I think the two biggest things electorally that I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
I think we have like a slight delay. So
You're fine.
But I think the biggest thing electorally at like the federal level at least would be money out of politics and ranked choice voting.
Yeah.
That would just that would just blow everything up, really. I mean, that would just be like, cuz then you would have more than two parties, because the whole argument oh, well, you can't vote for a third party or else the Republican win, or if you're red state, you be like, oh, you can't vote for a third party or the Democrat will win and we don't want that. Well, now that goes away because no, you can rank your choices. You can just vote for the person you want and then, put your second choice second. And then you get money out of politics. Well, that levels the playing field on people getting their message out there, their word out there. So, yeah, I mean, that's what needs to happen. I mean, my enthusiasm for electoralism, especially at the federal level, is very, very low, even lower than it ever has been. Now, locally, I'm a bit of a different story. And here in L.A., we did have a few things to smile about. Not a ton, but we had a few, there's a few kind of union organizers and lefties that made it to the runoff, some of them who even won the primary. So we have a few things to smile about here in Los Angeles.
Tell me. I want to smile.
Well, we had
like
two
smiling.
Progressives, two. Yeah, no, I feel you. We had two lefties win their primaries. Now here in California, I don't think New York's this way, but here in California, we do the jungle primaries. So it's just the people who finish in the top two who advance to the general. So it could be two Democrats, it could be two, whatever. I mean, it could be a Democrat and a Green, it could be a Libertarian and a Republican, who knows. So we've had, and our local races, by the way, are nonpartisan, so we don't have any parties for our local races. But, so it's just the top two that make it to the runoff. And we had a few lefties who beat the corporate incumbents. So they beat a ton of cop money. They beat a ton of, corporate money. And they made it to the runoff. And in some cases, they won. Kenneth Mejia, who's running for controller, he won. There's this guy, Hugo, who's running in District 13, who won. And then there's this other person running in District 1 who had a really good showing. And then for mayor, I mean, Caruso did not make it through. I mean, what they were hoping was that Caruso was going to make the 50%. If you're not... He's trying to be the Los Angeles Trump.
You got, you just dropped off there for a second. So, what were you saying?
Oh, sorry. Well, I was just talking about our mayor. We had this guy Caruso. I'm sure you heard about him. He's basically our Trump. He's trying to be the Trump of Los Angeles.
Really?
And what they were hoping, I was talking about how our runoffs work. Another thing about our elections that not a lot of people even know about is that if somebody gets 50% or more in the primary, it's just over and they win. So what Caruso was hoping was going to happen was enough people were going to be not paying attention and he was just going to kind of get 50% of the vote and become mayor. That didn't happen. So he's in a runoff against Karen Bass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, she wasn't my first choice. I voted for the lefty in the race, Gina Viola, but she's definitely a better choice than him for a mayor. So I will be supporting her in the general.
Really?
To keep him out. But yeah. So we had some good things happen, or at least some not as bad as they could be things happen locally here. Now, in my district, I was supporting a really good lefty candidate named Brian Odega, young, very progressive guy, climate activist, educator, by far the best choice on our ballot. He unfortunately did not make the runoff. He went up against a lot of big money. The one guy who's favored has lived in San Pedro for 40 years. He runs a huge nonprofit, kind of one of those like corporate type nonprofits, you know what I mean? And he's just, there are way worse people out there than him in city council, but he's kind of a more sort of establishment-y candidate. He made the runoff along with, someone else who's a little more on the establishment side of things. So that was a little bit unfortunate. But we'll see what's happened. We had a huge groundswell of like local people who really got behind Brian. And now, the people who made it through the runoff, like they want those endorsements. So I think we have some leverage to try to make, to kind of make these people put the community first. And I think in local politics, you have a better ability to do that. Like local politics, you really do have a chance to either elect people who want to serve the community or people who want to exploit it, because both run. And you really do have the chance to get just better people in office locally. I really do believe that.
That's true. I hear you. But it is scary that everywhere you look, there's a wannabe Trump. It's just.
Well, yeah. You guys kind of got one in New York. You got that cop.
Oh, Carl.
I heard Carl. It's been pretty terrible.
You're talking about which cop? You're talking about
the cop who's mayor.
Oh, him? Yeah, he sucks. He's a Democrat, though. He's supposed to be a Democrat. I've never liked him. He's really tediously annoying to me. But whatever, I voted for Maya Wiley, so. But yeah, no. And I thought you were talking about Carl Palladino. He's a New Yorker. He's another one. He's the one that said that we need more leaders like Hitler. So, and then they were,
wow.
yeah. they're.
I haven't heard about that.
Yeah, he's
that's quite a quote.
Yeah. But then he was like, he was insisting he was taken out of context. That's what happens. They whenever they're called on things that they say that are abhorrent, they're either, and then they're coached that, oh no, that wasn't a good thing to say. They'll say, oh, I was just joking, or I was taken out of context. How do you take that out of context? But we know they're all full of shit. We need a good leader. That's what he was saying, that Hitler was so inspiring. Yeah, right? That he had so many people following him. We need more people like him. So it's so insane that, but this is where we live. I don't know. It's very just goddamn depressing sometimes, because I it's so like just seeing these fucking assholes going to the gay pride parade, where of course it was good that they were stopped. The 31 well, they weren't the Proud Pricks. Who were they? They were the other ones, the Patriot Front. That were, I'm sure you saw it. They were going to try to disrupt a gay pride parade. Some bunch of fuckers.
What are they called?
They call themselves,
I can't even keep track.
I know, it never stops.
I can't even keep track of all these freaking names. Like I don't know. Like all these different, like I don't know.
I know.
Like what's the difference between any of them? Like are they just the same thing? Like I don't even freaking know.
There's like, well, I call the
right.
Proud Boys. I call them the Proud Pricks. So the Proud, they're not. They're just a bunch of incel fucking closet cases, really. And same thing with this Patriot Front. That's another one. They're like the Proud Boys, the Patriot Front, and they all wear the same thing. And they're like the brown shirts, And they were going to a gay pride parade to cause mayhem, and they were some neighbor called it in saying that they saw a small army gathering, and they were going to wait. I hear you cooking. I hear you doing a lot of cooking there. So settle down. Settle down for a second. I hear a lot of like spoons and things scraping and whatnot. But anyway, so I'm
making the Sunday sauce.
Yes, you gotta make it now. So you gotta make it on the Tarabuster show. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm only kidding. I know. I'm always multitasking too. Yeah, and I'm always doing 5,000 things. So, but the thing that was concerning is that it wasn't the FBI wasn't the ones who busted this ring. It was like somebody called it in. They were like, I see a bunch of fucking assholes in army gear gathering, maybe you should look at this. Maybe you should check this out. And then they came and got them, and were like, they were going to, I don't know, it would have been another incident of domestic terrorism. They were just going to the gay pride parade in Idaho or something to disrupt it. And I'm sure they were going to go there and start beating people up and shit, and who knows what else. But that's how they were caught, and the 31 of them were caught, and all their mugshots were released, and I was looking through them all, and they all look like they really look inbred and also closeted. There's no doubt in my mind why that there are a bunch of closet cases.
Well, it's so funny. Mm-hmm. It's so funny how they never want to be like ID'd ever, and it's like, well, wait, I thought you were proud. I thought you were proud of this.
Exactly, they're so proud.
Why don't you?
They were always right.
I mean, everything I post online and every opinion I have, my name's next to it.
Right.
Not
exactly.
an avatar, not like my name, and you might not agree with everything I say or whatever, but
there you go.
My name's right there.
There you go.
Like I put my name on it. Sometimes I, regret things later. I'm like, I missed the mark there, whatever, or I've learned and I've grown and I got that one wrong or whatever. But, I still put my name on it. I'm not hiding behind something. And I don't claim to be proud or not proud. I just claim to be a dude.
Yeah, proud. And they're not proud. They just want to, they're very much, they remind me, well, they're closet cases. That's it. They really just need the arms of a man around them. You know what I mean? And hugging them.
They are all like...
Yeah, they need a
male,
hug.
Right? Like, they don't have...
That's it.
Are there any female
Proud
Boys? Is that a thing?
Probably not. Maybe there are...
I guess that's not allowed, right?
Right? Who knows? The Women's Auxiliary, do they have that in the Proud Pricks? But they need...
They're adults.
That's what they need. They just need some big man to grab them and hug them and say, and caress them on the back of their heads and be like, it's okay. Like, why are they they're just fucked up, and it never stops. And it's so embarrassing too to be white sometimes. It's always these white assholes. How do they get so stupid? You know what I mean? Jeez. What happened? But anyway, and it's being encouraged by the big asshole that which I don't understand. I don't understand the love of Trump. I don't get it. That's what's probably the worst part of it all right now, living in this time, because I don't understand. I don't get why people like him. And
he made a lot of bogus promises.
He
made a lot of bogus promises
exactly.
that a lot of people bought, and then they didn't buy it the second time, except for the people who, the Kool-Aid has really been drunk. Mm-hmm. So, what's going to happen next. I mean, if they get,
Oh,
if there's a
God.
more deliberate,
Yeah.
like a more savvy con man around
Yes.
the corner.
Yes. So that's
Which
it.
there are. I mean,
And
it's like, there are people. I mean, Ron DeSantis is
Yep.
waiting in the wings,
Uh-huh.
and that guy
Yep.
is beyond dangerous.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's
that
more
guy
terrifying
is-
than Trump. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh my God, way more.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, and he's.
Yeah,
That's what
kinda.
it reminds me of. Well, that's we talk about the end of the Roman Republic a lot on the show because I'm a big Roman history fan, and it's exactly like the end of the Roman Republic because Caesar was. He's like the Trump character, even though Caesar wasn't a dumbass and a con man. He was more of a, he was just not deferential to the Senate or the Republic itself. He was just more arrogant and wouldn't play by the rules. And whereas,
Well, I think.
good.
Well, that's what I think a lot of people have trouble grasping. And this goes far beyond Trump or any one administration, really. But it's like, we are the empire of today. And we are going to have the same fall, just like any other empire.
There's no doubt.
We're it.
It's
and
over.
we are, like if the world was Game of Thrones, we are freaking King's Landing. Including, like, if you noticed on Game of Thrones, all the people who lived in King's Landing and weren't rich had really shitty lives.
Yeah,
they
that's right.
like most of them had to go and fight in wars that they didn't want to fight in. They didn't know why they were there. They didn't have a choice. They were just sent there.
Of course.
So we're an empire. Like, we're totally an empire.
But,
and our government treats us accordingly. They think, how can I exploit you? I know, I'll make healthcare for profit.
Yep.
How else can I exploit you?
Yeah.
I know, I'll make prison for profit. How else can I exploit you? I know, we'll have prison labor. How else can I exploit you?
Oh, my God,
Well, we need you to kind of be the backbone of this place, but we're not going to pay you living wages to do it. How else can I exploit you?
Exactly.
Well, we're not going to do anything about climate change because we need you to keep buying this gas. How else can I exploit you? Well, how about you join the military and go fight these wars? How else can I exploit you? We're not going to make housing affordable for you, and we're going to keep you desperate. I mean, the list goes on and on. How else can I exploit you? Do you want to get a college education? That's debt for the rest of your life. I mean,
I have to say,
USA,
it's true. Yeah. And I always ask, how much longer are we going to take it? That's why, the thing about gas prices and everything else, getting the inflation rising, if people had living wages and if they didn't have to, miss 2 paychecks and end up on a food bank line, then it wouldn't be as damaging in general. So they would be, be able to ride it out while things adjust, because the inflation is up all over the world and whatnot. But it's we have the whole this false notion of a middle class when the middle class, there is no middle class. Middle class is below, the middle class went below 50% of the population when Trump was in office. I don't know why, the Democrats don't talk about it. They don't, the corporate media doesn't talk about it. They just talk about, gas prices and inflation now. But there is no, where's this middle class? If gas prices go from $3 a gallon to $5 a gallon and you're tapped out, you're not in a fucking middle class. I'm sorry. This is not middle class. You should be able to, middle class should have something to fall back on in the time of a crisis,
Well, see, I would argue that the corporate media feeds you the delusion that the middle class still exists, and it doesn't.
Of course, I'm not thinking the corporate. That's it. Yeah, I don't think there's a middle class.
Yeah,
that's
so
all I'm
that's
saying.
why they don't talk about it.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I know, but it's like I think that's what it is. They don't talk about that because that would be acknowledging the fact that it's been completely gutted.
Yes.
They would never acknowledge that truth. They make it out like not only is there a middle class, but there's this middle class that feels this way or that. There's this middle class that has this irrational fear of socialism, which they don't understand. Yeah. There's this middle class that has this irrational fear of a healthcare system that works everywhere else in the industrialized world. There's this middle
Right.
class, that wants to go back to the office, even though
I
people have been
know.
working remotely, they're
Fuck
more
that.
productive, and
Exactly.
they're happier.
Exactly.
They want to go back to the office.
Oh, I
with
know.
$6 gas.
I keep
Let's go
hearing
back.
them shaming the worker. Yeah, like when I watch Morning Joe, because I watch, I'll drink my coffee and hate watch Morning Joe, and
You are a glutton for
I
punishment.
know. They're always like, they'll say, oh, yeah, everybody wants to sit in their pajamas, and, I see you out at the restaurant, or you're at a cafe, or you're at a concert, or whatever the fuck, but you can't go to the office. Well, people don't want to go to the fucking office, because if you can work from home, maybe you can get a little bit of that work-life balance they were always talking about, and without having to,
that
commute.
thing they have in other countries.
Exactly. Just a little bit. You get a little bit more time back in your own life for you, where you can do things and not have to spend commuting or something. You know what I mean? But it's so annoying to me. But anyway, we have so many problems. I can't handle it. It's very. I wish my grandmother never left Ireland. I say this every show. I know. I'm sorry. I say it every show.
Well, since you brought this up naturally, I will mention I'm doing a new series under the Get Your News On with Ron banner called Expatriate.
Oh, really?
And it's all about, well,
I saw something about that.
I'm not doing this. Well, here's the thing. Like,
are you leaving?
Over the past, no, I don't have any plans to. No, I might someday, but I don't have any plans to, as right now. But like, over the past 2 years, going through this pandemic, and especially seeing how this country in particular responded to it.
Yeah.
I did come to terms with a few things that it's like, I might not want to live here anymore at some point. I hope it doesn't come down to that. I love my neighborhood. I really do. And there's so much cool stuff going on in my neighborhood, and I love it here. I live in the San Pedro area of Los Angeles. It's great restaurants, great food, great music. It's like a big punk rock town with a beach, and it's a big union town, so it's pretty lefty. And it's a little Italy, LA, so there's like so there's all kinds of things that fit me very well. I like it here. But, this country's kind of going freaking nuts.
Yeah.
And so during the pandemic, we're still in one, but, during the, the lockdown portion, I spent a lot of time reading about different ways to leave the United States, basically, and decided I was going to make a series based on what I learned. And I'm also, talking about the method that I chose, because I am in the process of getting dual citizenship.
From where? Where?
Check it out. Italy.
Oh, good for you. Shit. Italy.
Yeah, Italy.
How are you doing that? Because I can get dual citizenship in Ireland, and that's not dual. I can get my Irish citizen. Yeah, I can. I know I can. I got to do it. I just
can. It's a lot of paperwork. It's a big headache, and it takes a long time. And I'm going through it right now. But it is, in my opinion, very, very worth it. Yeah. And Ireland has a similar program to Italy. So I'm sure.
Is it because your grandparents? Is that it? Or how? How did you get it?
It can go further back. It can go further back. Well, I haven't gotten it yet.
Okay.
I'm still working on it. Okay. But it can go further back than that with Italy. I'm not sure what Ireland's rules are.
Well, I know.
Every country that has
Ireland
is different.
Yeah, it's if your grandparents were born there, and were citizens of Ireland or England, and that's my grandparents. So I already looked into it. In fact, got my grandfather's birth certificate and death certificate, and I need to get a few other pieces of paper, and then I can register as a foreign birth, and then I apply for an Irish passport, apparently. So I can also contact I got some other thing about getting somebody to do it for me for like, I don't know what it was, like $2,000 altogether, but we'll see. But I need to do it. Anyway. But so what? As far as Italy,
I mean, so even if you're not going to move, like let's say you're like, I don't know if I'm going to move to Ireland, or you can move anywhere in the EU. Actually,
yes, exactly.
But even if you're not sure if you're going to move, it is still a very valuable thing to have. That in my opinion is well worth it. Having, a second passport and what that offers you just as somebody in, somebody, I forget who said it first, but, I heard it, and it's kind of an inconvenient truth, but it is the truth. If you're not thinking globally, get ready to be left behind. I don't necessarily like that that's the case, but that is the freaking case. Like, that's just the world we're living in. And you can either deny that or try to fight it, or you can accept it and try to... try to use it to your advantage to the best of your ability. And I feel like, especially me as as a comedian or whatever, having a second passport would enable me to perform in other parts of the world so much easier.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing a series about it, and we're talking about everything from like digital nomad visas to different ways you can leave the country, to why I chose the method I chose. And we're going to talk about, different countries specifically. Like we're going to do episodes about Canada, Mexico. And it's still very much in its infancy. I've only done 2 episodes so far. But I'm going to be doing the 3rd episode before I leave for Iceland. So that's coming out soon. And you can get it just on my podcast, Get News On with Ron, wherever you get your podcast. And it's just the Expatriate series under that banner. But if anyone...
I got to get out of here.
If anyone has thought... Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, I get a lot of messages. I mean, even though I've only done 2 episodes, I have gotten a lot of emails about it. And a lot of times it's, honestly, most of it is parents. Most of it is like, younger parents who are kind of thinking, I don't know if I want my kids to grow up here.
Right.
And,
how would you?
I can certainly empathize with that. No, I wouldn't. I mean, I honestly think, like, if I had kids right now, that question you asked me, are you planning on leaving? My answer would have been yes.
Right.
If I had kids, like there's no way, like my wife and I, we would be gone.
Yeah, because how do you send your kids to school?
But I don't have to.
You know what I mean? I mean, I'm not saying other people who have to send their kids to school. I understand, but I get it.
Right.
The the anxiety of that, to send your child to school and then. And the possibility that they might be murdered by some fucker with an assault weapon, and nothing will be done about it. That's the most horrific part. Yeah, nothing is done. I mean, and now the Republicans and Democrats are doing this thing about mental health and red flag laws, which is the very, very least that can be done.
They've moved on. They moved on from the doors? I thought it was the doors.
Yeah. Well, that was Ted Cruz. It was just those horrible doors. There was one door going in and one door going out. So, because kids, the reason there are more than one door, because you should have an escape, a fire exit. You know what I mean? That's why you don't have one fucking door going in and out, you dumb bastard, Ted Cruz, But... So kids have to worry. Kids in the past used to have to worry about fire. Now we have to worry about assault weapons. So I guess that would. But yeah, that they supposedly have some agreement with the Democrats and the Republicans about doing something about red flag laws and mental health. Yeah, that's whatever bill they're passing, but it's all bullshit.
It sounds like more of the same.
Yeah, it's all bullshit. Mental health.
I mean, it's
Yeah, I'm asking. Well, how about where's your Medicare for all mental health bill? Of course not.
Right.
Let's start with mental health care for all then, you motherfuckers. Oh my god. Anyway, all right. Well, Ron. What's that address again? What you were talking about?
AntitrustSummer.com. Yeah, we can't solve all the world's problems tonight, but we can do something to break up
we can do
some of the big tech monopolies. So go to AntitrustSummer.com. Please sign the petition. It takes less than a minute. And if you're interested in anything in my world, RonPlacone.com for those tour dates. I'll be in Portland, Seattle, Vancouver, and Iceland. RonPlacone.com for that. And please, AntitrustSummer.com. Sign the petition. Tell your friends. Share it. Call your representative. We got a chance at winning this thing. We need a win. Let's win this.
Yeah, we do need a win. Thank you so much for hanging out. And if you're, I'll let you go because I know you have to finish cooking or whatever. And we're going to talk about Lauren Boebert. I don't know if you saw the new. Whatever they're the people who took down Madison Cawthorn are going after Lauren Boebert, and apparently she was an escort, and I think we need a laugh, so we're gonna go through that. Lauren Boebert, she was
all right.
She was on sugardaddy.com and as an escort, and also had numerous abortions apparently. So anyway, I'm sure more will come out about it because the same people that got the videos of Madison Cawthorn face humping somebody in a hotel room and are the ones who are going after Lauren Boebert. So it should be fun. It should be fun. Anyway,
I saw a tweet about it, but that's all I've seen so far. So I'm not super hip to that. But I'm sure I'll hear more about it.
I'm sure you will. Well, I would like to see her. I would like to see her out of the halls of power by any means necessary. So yeah, she was on. She was called SugarDaddyMeat.com. She was offering her services on there. So apparently. So that'll be fun. Anyway. All right. Sorry, I didn't mean to ruin your dinner there, but I know there's a lot going on in this country. So that's why I figured we'd talk about it. Anyway.
Thanks for having me.
Of course,
and,
anytime.
AntitrustSummer.com, and I will. I'll catch you next time.
Yes, I'll talk to you later, Ron.
All right.
Care.
Have a good one, Tom.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ron Placone, everybody. The great Ron Placone. Let me see. That's what I thought. I saw this Lauren Boebert thing. So, yeah, AntitrustSummer.com. Let's do that. I'm going to call Chuck Schumer tomorrow. Since he's my senator, maybe I have... And, in fact, Chuck Schumer, I know this is this a humble brag? But he does follow me on Twitter, so I'm going to... Maybe I could even send him a DM. But, all right. Yeah, I just thought it would be funny to talk about this Lauren Boebert shit because she sucks and I hate her. And for those who were listening on the podcast, I realized halfway through when we were talking, Ron and I were talking, where I didn't identify him. You're supposed to identify people over and over for people who are just listening on audio podcast or whatever. So that was Ron Placone, ronplacone.com, the great comedian and great friend. So yeah, thanks everybody on the chat. If you're listening, Ron, he's probably not listening, but because I heard him cooking some dinner, but everyone is going to, what is that? AntitrustSummer.com. And they also are thanking you for being on the show. So, yeah. I thank you. And we all thank you. We give thanks for Ron Placone. I do. I mean, if we have to live in this country in this period of time, in this blip of time, at least we're in it together, right? So, look at Ray. You can hardly see him. He's sitting right back there. He's a cutie. All right. Yeah, Boebert was an escort. So, I don't know if you guys remember and I just want to say thank you, Jim, for the lone super chat of the evening. I don't know what the hell is happening. Did I do something wrong when I chose this as a career. I don't know. But thank you and thank everybody for hanging out. Let me see. So I don't know if you guys remember a couple of shows ago, a few months ago, we were going through some of these right wingers who were discovered on a place called exploretalent.com. All right, and so and coincidentally, the weirdest thing, a large, not just a few, but a large cohort of right wingers are all on this. They were all found on this website called Explore Talent. And it's a kind of, it was, or I don't know if it's still around, but it seemed kind of old, but it kind of dodgy looking, sort of had the veneer of softcore porn type, Craigslist escort type prostitution feel to it. And so many of the right wingers were on this website, exploretalent.com. Lauren Boebert, Tommy Lauren, Candace Owens, and so many others. Let's see. One of Rudy Giuliani's, one of these freaks that came out during I don't know, as Rudy Giuliani's something or other. Let me see. Where am I looking here? So people were kind of wondering, are right wingers, where are they getting these people from? You know what I mean? So they find them on Explore Talent, and then they're elevated into the halls of power. Here, let's look at some of them, and then we'll go through all of the Lauren Boebert's stuff. So this person, Pusher of Guillotine Revolts, on Twitter, Nicole Chanel, was the one who posted it. Once I attended a search, and when my dad found out they were putting me on the internet, he was saying, this person saying, once I attended a talent search, and they were putting me on the internet, he demanded my photos be taken off, but she's saying, Explore Talent is a live database that quite literally is the stitching together of numerous databases and different technologies. That's why the site looks weird. It looks very similar to early Facebook, and you can even register and vote and like and friend and etc. So first up, we have Lauren Boebert on exploretalent.com. And there she is. And we have some more footage, film, photos. Why can't I talk? Of her looking very sugardaddy.com. Looking like she's a whore, frankly. No offense to sex workers, because they have more dignity than Lauren Boebert. So this is what I'm talking about. Melissa Carone of Giuliani Star Witness fame. Carone is and not an expert, and was actually a temp employee with the access of a lower level entry associate. She was also intoxicated and spurred SNL skits of her horrible acting job. That's the one who was insisting everything was stolen, if you remember, at one of those hearings where apparently Rudy Giuliani passed gas and was caught on a hot mic. Not that, we all do it, but we try not to do it during a hearing. We also try when we dye our hair that it's Yeah, I dye my roots and whatnot, but it's not dripping down my face. If that ever happens, then you know. I've said please become a patron too many times at patreon.com/TaraDevlin. Well, I know there's a woman who lives in my building, and I feel really bad for her. She's rather, elderly now at this point, I guess. I don't know. Am I elderly? No, not yet. But I feel bad. Like, I think there's some kind of mental breakdown happening. She's putting all kinds of signs on her door, like I'm allergic to mercury is one, and then there's others like just different weird things that only I guess are clear to her in some way. So I wonder, and everybody's kind of like, me included, just walking by hoping all is well. Who do we call? Anyway. All right. Well, I haven't seen her on Explore Talent, so I guess she's not that far gone yet. Former contestant on Survivor, Anna Kate, and a Project Veritas honeypot. Honeypot operative, remember? Who targeted Dems along with Eric Prinz, the brother of Betsy DeVos. And then we have Candace Owens, OnlyFans page, not OnlyFans, Explore Talent. I wouldn't be surprised, OnlyFans. Tara Price is an anti-feminist and journalist who currently runs media for The Blaze. You see what I'm saying? Where are these fuckers coming from? That's where they're coming from. They're a bunch of crisis actors. That's why they're always like, crisis actor there, crisis actor here, crisis actor everywhere. Because they're the crisis actors. That's what I'm saying. Everything is a projection or a confession with these people. So when they're calling Dems crisis actors, everybody's a crisis actor. It's because they're freaking crisis actors. That's what they do. Because they're not actually governing. They're not actually doing anything of value. So they're pretending. They have to. They're acting. Here's Scott Pressler, who appeared on the scene in 2017, running marches against Sharia law. Pressler disguises his actions with the veneer of organized community activism and is currently touring the U.S. teaching how to recall school boards. He was also at the January 6th insurrection. Then we have Tara Skris Panskey of the Polish American Brotherhood, far-right YouTube streamer, was in D.C. through the winter of 2020, was also at January 6th. She's shown up in Southern California and then drove to Riverside for Getson Green. You see? This is who they are. Here's Tommy Lauren. It says, Tommy Lauren needs no introduction, even though we found another Tommy Lauren Explore Talent page that had her picture. This one doesn't have her picture, but all the other specifics are her. Then we have, who's this? Polina Cheboratev, sister of Dmitry and Philip Chebotarev, and are operatives out of Orange County and are involved in real estate investment. Dmitry plays in a band called Collusion and does all the GOP events. Can you believe them? Well, whatever. Collusion. You fucking dumb bastards. Jairo Rodriguez, a far-right YouTuber, It's incredible. It never stops. I'm telling you, I'm scrolling away. My finger's getting tired from scrolling. This is a Newsmax. What's her name? Emerald Robinson of the ever reliable Newsmax. Another one. Nathan Degrave, January 6th Capitol rioter and current defendant, standing trial. Amazing, right? All right, well, enough of this. Enough of this palaver. Falderall. Let's get to Lauren Boebert. What do you think? Lauren, this is very exciting to me, everyone, because I like it. I find it funny. Here we go. Because I hate her. I hate that bitch. She's really one of the reasons I am embarrassed to be an American, because I'm like, how can we produce things like that? Things called Lauren Boeberts, you know, somebody who failed the GED. Well, it took her 3 times to pass the GED, which she only passed months before she was sworn in to Congress, okay? She's banned from her local bowling alley because her husband, who is another disgusting person, and a pedophile, actually, he showed his reportedly underwhelming junk to underage girls at a bowling alley and was kicked out of the bowling alley. They were both banned. She was there too, apparently. And of course, she's well known by the local cops because she was somebody who would inject herself into situations and interfere with the cops she pretends to care so much about. Like, she apparently was arrested for disorderly conduct because she was encouraging underage kids who were being cited for underage drinking. She was encouraging them to flee the police, and they arrested her. So, and then she didn't show up for court. That's the other thing. Because she's a patriot, you know. That's what patriots do. So here we go. Where I'm getting there. We're gonna find it. Here we go. Here's for immediate release. This is from Fire. Where is it? Fire Boebert. Do I have the right page here? No, that's not it. Here we go. Look. Look at her pictures. That's real family values she's got there. Lauren Boebert. That's real. So she's got some family values happening. These are more. Oh, there she is. What? What's she doing with that hose? Look, this is from her. It's from her sex page. You see, she's on a bed. She's all gussied up. Okay. Oh, and all right. Let's read the press release. Lauren Boebert was an unlicensed paid escort. So she couldn't even get a license. You know what I mean? Get a license for that shit. Maybe that would require her having a STD test or something. Do they give licenses for paid escorts? Only in Nevada, right? Well, anyway, she was an unlicensed paid escort with sugardaddymeat.com and had an abortion. Apparently, she had 2 abortions. Boebert met Senator Ted Cruz in Aspen through Koch family member escort client. So this Koch family member was the one who hired Boebert ads through this sugardaddymeat.com, and apparently was the sugar daddy that impregnated her, for which she needed an abortion. So, and apparently her husband knew all about it. She was married at the time too, and she called it pay for play. And that's because she's family values. So from a press release, June 14th, which is today, Silt, Colorado. The American Muckrakers PAC, Inc. today announced their team and volunteers have uncovered that Lauren Boebert was an unlicensed paid escort and met clients through sugardaddymeat.com. Text messages show she was bankrupt at the time and looking for side income, and called her work pay to play. She was paid to escort, quote-unquote, wealthy men. According to our investigation, in 2019, Boebert was hired by a wealthy male client in Aspen, Colorado, who was a Koch family member. Boebert's rich client subsequently introduced her to U.S. Senator Ted Cruz in Aspen in 2019. After meeting with Senator Cruz, Boebert was encouraged by him to run for Congress. Because, that's what you do for escorts, because it doesn't matter. She fits the suit, and she has no integrity. And, she's pay to play. So she'll say and do whatever you want her to do, right? She'll love you a long time until your democracy is dead on the floor. After Boebert announced her campaign for Congress in 2019, Senator Cruz donated $126,000 to the Boebert campaign and helped her raise large sums of money during trips Boebert made to Texas. I guess when he wasn't fleeing to Cancun. Boebert didn't disclose a $75,000 donation until Cruz's Federal Election Commission filings contradicted her filings. You see, because she's a filthy liar, like the rest of them. Boebert had an abortion at the Planned Parenthood clinic in Glenwood Springs, Colorado. Of course, right? Planned Parenthood. All we have to do is search her Twitter feed for how many times she's bashed Planned Parenthood, right? According to this press release, she had the abortion, and if I'm not mistaken, it goes into it that she had an abortion more than once, but anyway, we'll get to that. Due to her work with sugardaddymeat.com. So it might be they're only specifying one abortion because they can only corroborate the one, but apparently in the text messages, which they released, but they redacted a lot, large portions of these text messages from the person or persons who were, exposing the real Lauren Boebert. They, according to that person, Lauren Boebert had more than one abortion. Anyway. American muckrakers obtained this information through an exhaustive investigation and a tip from a verified source close to this matter who has requested anonymity for fear of reprisals. We did not receive any information from Planned Parenthood or any other medical provider, nor did we obtain any information through illegal acts. So, okay, here we go. David Wheeler, president of the American Muckrakers PAC, Inc. Oh, please do Marjorie Trader Green, too. Please do her next, please. Please do her at the same time. Come on. Lauren Opal Boebert is a big, why can't I talk? Big is as big of a hypocrite as Madison Cawthorn. He says one thing and does another. She says she's against abortion, but has apparently had at least 2 abortions. Well, they're mentioning it there. That's good. She claims to be a devout Christian, but is paid to escort wealthy men without a license. That's interesting. And has 2 abortions she wants to make illegal for other women. She takes money from Ted Cruz, but doesn't report it. If she's a law and order candidate, imagine what she'll do, what else she'll do to line her pockets. There's clearly no moral line Boebert won't cross, and it's all about getting as much money as she can, not the needs of the citizens of Colorado. Our coalition of Republicans, Democrats, and unaffiliated voters are pleading with all voters in Colorado's 3rd District to take a good long look at Lauren Boebert and what she does, not what she says. Here we go. Bullet pointed. Boebert had 2 abortions, but says other women shouldn't be able to make this decision. Boebert was driving an ATV in Moab and had a serious wreck with her son in the back and her sister-in-law so seriously injured that she had to be flown to a hospital via a life flight. Boebert doesn't report the accident as required by Utah law and then actively works to cover it up. The accident was 2 weeks before the primary election, including paying her sister-in-law off to remain silent. Boebert uses donor money to pay her taxes and restaurant rent. We know this. I think this was exposed already, but I don't know why that isn't a bigger deal. Probably because everything in the house is on fire. In addition to this, Boebert still owes her employees back pay and threatens them if they protest. Jason Boebert, the sexual predator, has a consulting, quote-unquote, contract for an oil and gas company for, wait for it, $460,000 a year, but has no consulting experience. Now, if you don't tell me that's not a bribe from the oil industry, right? Then these are the same assholes that are talking about Hunter Biden, right? Hunter Biden's laptop. Oh, what's Hunter Biden's experience being on a board of a guy? Isn't he on the board of an oil and gas company? What's his experience? Well, what's Jason Boebert's experience being a consultant for oil and gas industry for $460,000 a year? These are grifters. They're all grifters. It's a giant grift. The entire Republican Party are grifters. I'm sorry, they are. I mean, I am sorry. I'm not sorry to tell you. I'm sorry they are, because I don't want to live in a shithole country. I want to live in a country that works for more than just the 1%. And I don't want morons like Lauren Boebert embarrassing us and killing and making it possible for our children to be murdered by assault weapons. You know what I mean? In the very least. We hope Coloradans will agree that Lauren Boebert doesn't deserve to represent the voters of Colorado. But she does deserve to be in the Colorado Hypocrite Hall of Fame. Yes. For more information on this matter, go to Fire Boebert. Let's look. Boebert abortions. Come on, open up. All right, wait. Oh, here's the texts. I'm sorry, I would really love to help. I'm scared of her and her husband. All these are redacted. I don't know how you could safely. I will tell you that this is the person who's afraid. I will tell you that she had one abortion at the Glenwood Springs Planned Parenthood office and another at Grand Junction. The first one was when she was 17. The second one was when she was working on the side as a paid date on a site called Sugar Baby or something. She was stripping at that time also. They had a meth drug problem at that time. Can you access any medical records with Planned Parenthood? I'm trying to get past the fear, but I don't know how you could protect me. And then they say, do you know where she was stripping? What about the drugs? We've heard Jason was dealing. Do you know the actual Sugar Baby website name? And then the person responds, Jason was, yes. Yes, I have the photos from the actual site. I will send it. And then they send the picture of her hooker pose. And there she is. Yeah. She's a true patriot. The site, one of them, was called Sugar Daddy Meets. There was another one also. I will find that one in the morning. There's some more of her very patriotic sex pictures. On that site is where she met a client from Aspen who introduced her to Ted Cruz. The client in Aspen was a Koch family member. And then, we read all of this. And this is vetted. You know that they wouldn't come, they wouldn't be, what do you call it? Bring this all stuff public. I can't talk tonight. Unless they had thoroughly vetted it. She's a horrible person. The Ted Cruz thing is the big connection, and that came from the Kochs. Yes, she is a horrible person. That's what the person who knows her is saying. She was trying to save her business, and they had started a bankruptcy, so she started doing it on the side for money. And they asked, was she a prostitute? She called it pay for play. Her words exactly. Okay, in the morning, it's late now, I'm sorry. Why would Ted Cruz put money into a paid escort that didn't even have a high school diploma? You ask? I don't get it. Good night. And then they respond, it's obvious. She blackmailed him. Oh my God, I never thought about it like that. Yep, you know her. She's a conniving little witch. True. Good night. Thank you. Yeah. So according to Colorado, you need a license to be an escort. No person shall hold himself or herself out to the public as an escort or accept compensation as an escort without having first secured a license from the local licensing authority. Well, I guess escorting doesn't necessarily mean having sex, and well, not that I don't give a shit, whatever. But she couldn't go to get a license because, that's too much big government for her, I guess. No big government. It's gonna license her cooch. She's free. Oh my God. On the chat, Winston says, where is Errol? He's always saying he would love to turn Bobert out onto the corner to earn him some money or something. Who knew she was already out there? Really? Incredible. But I think that's beautiful. It's a beautiful turn of events to soothe my sorrow. Because Lauren Boebert is trending, and I love it. And it's all coming out. So I wonder. You see today, Lauren Boebert tweeted. She had a picture of Trump hugging a flag and herself hugging a flag. And, because they're all a bunch of assholes. Look at this shit. Look at this. You know, hugging a flag, as we say, Republicans love the outward display of patriotism because the substance is very much over their heads. And what's with the thumbs up, traitors? Is this a traitor sign? I know you do the white power sign, but what is this? What is this? Is this does this mean up your ass democracy? What does it mean? Everybody, they always have this thumbs up. Stupid. Today we celebrate Flag Day and the birthday of my favorite president, Donald J. Trump. Why do you have to put the J in there, too? Donald J. Trump. That's con man to you. That's Twitler. Donald J. Because we might get him mixed up with another con man who's trying to destroy democracy. Remember today and every day what a blessing it is to live in this incredible nation where you too can be an escort one day without a GED, without even a high school diploma, and the next day you too can bribe or extort, you can extort Ted Cruz for bribes. What a great country. Only in America. It's true. Only in America can a less vote getting con man continue to go to that, return to the well of dupes. It's like an endless well of dupes to fleece them over and over and over and over. And I could do this for the next hour again. Oh my God, I want to vomit. Vote for me. I'm a whore. Look at me. I'm a whore. Look at me. I remember when I had to bang you on Sugar Daddy Meat. Remember? Pay to play. She's still pay to play. Thumbs up. Up where? Where you putting that thumb? You filthy. Look at the fake fucking faces, too. That's the other thing. The fakeness. Is that a real... What is that, a puppet face? I know that if you zoom into those dead eyes, they'll send a shiver up your spine. They both have dead eyes. They have the deadest of eyes. These dead. That's what happens when you're nothing but a greed-centered ghoul. When you're a greed-centered ghost of the Gilded Age who hates America. Yeah. She voted against the Equal Rights Amendment ratification. Well, who needs equal rights as a woman when you can get yourself a sugar daddy, right? Sugar daddy. What? You don't need equal rights. There's sugardaddymeat.com. Why does a woman need any rights? All she's got to do is find herself a man, like in Sugar Daddy Meat. They are dead inside, and they have dead eyes to prove it. And it's a grift. The whole thing is a grift. That's the reason we're teetering on the edge of the death of democracy. You understand? And it does go down, comes right down to money in politics. If not for money in politics, we wouldn't be in this situation. We would not have a Lauren Boebert. We wouldn't have a Marjorie Taylor Greene. There would be no dead children having to be identified through DNA. You know? And they won't be the last. That's the other thing that is abhorrent. Another thing, Bernie had a debate with with Miss Lindsey Graham yesterday, and good for him. It was great. I watched it, and good for Bernie for bringing the truth to the morons at Fox News. But the fact is, money in politics. Miss Lindsay said, let's bring a Medicare for All bill up to the floor, and we'll see who votes for it. If everybody wants Medicare for All and they don't vote for it, their representatives don't vote for it, then they'll be kicked out of Congress. And isn't that how it works? No, that's not how it works. Because 90% of the American people want background checks on gun purchases. We still don't have it. All we get are this nibbling around the edges, right? Over 70% of the American people want Medicare for All. And how you, depending on how you phrase it, it's even higher. So give me an effing break. They'll get kicked out? No, they won't, because of money in politics. That's why we have a con man. The con man who's wielding the dagger at the throat of democracy is only doing it because he's a grifter. If there was no money in politics, he'd be on to another grift. He'd be back to selling Trump Network vitamins. Because he's doing it for money. That's why he won't admit. That's why he won't admit that he lost. That's why he's not man enough to admit he lost. Because money, 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 money. For him. Not for you, not for me, not for the American people. So, that's the greatest evil that needs to be eradicated, but okay. No, man, whatever. What do I know? I'm just a fucking Tarabuster on the goddamn dinky podcast that only gets a $2 chat from Jim every day. Thank you, Jim. As always. Right out of the gate, always. You know what I mean? I have to say, please become a patron until I want to poke out my ears. But it's all a grift. Like, for example, all of it is these fuckers. I can't believe it. Here, where? I'm looking for this Kimberly Gill gargoyle thing. Kimberly Gargoyle. And you know what? It's so irritating. And that's not even the appropriate word. Because it's like we were talking about on the last show, that the on corporate media, that's all you hear is, first of all, I'm glad they're playing the January 6th hearings and all, but then they'll talk about how Trump is a malignant narcissist and how the democracy is dying. And how the filthy goddamn conservatives are holding, their CPAC convention in Hungary, looking for ideas how to bring it here. And then they'll talk about, they'll blame Joe Biden for worldwide inflation. What's he gonna do? Everybody's upset, And just like we were saying, if there was a middle class, there wouldn't the ups and downs of this of inflation, of gas prices, wouldn't be as detrimental. It wouldn't be as damaging. People would be able to ride it out. You should be able to have some savings, to get through tough times. But what do I know? I'm just Tarabuster. Taradevilin on Tarabuster. Whatever. I don't know. I'm not Kimberly Gargoyle speaking for 2 minutes at a Nuremberg rally and making $60,000? Yeah, here we go. Here's another thing. See, this is something that will hopefully put Trump behind bars. If there is a God. Trump PAC didn't exist. All these dumbasses. Now, I didn't read Trump's 11-page rebuttal. Exactly, Zenny on the chat. Bernie should have been 2 years into his second term. Exactly, but I didn't read Trump's 11-page rebuttal to the January 6th hearings. Which, why would I? What would he say? Would he be like, nobody Liz Cheney or pencil neck shifty Schiff? This is their fucking retort. You know what I mean? That's what they have. That's all they have. You have reams of evidence and under oath testimony and examples, and you bring the receipts after receipt after receipt, and then all that Fox News needs to know is shifty Schiff. You say receipt after receipt after receipt and under oath testimony, and we meet that with some fucking infantile pejorative, some nickname. Oh well, shifty Schiff. Well, case closed. From the NBC website. Maddo blog. Steve Bannon writes, not that Steve Bannon, who should be in jail, by the way. Who should be in jail? Why is he walking around still plotting the coup out in the open? Okay, among Donald Trump's worst qualities is the frequency with which the former president has tried to rip off those who put their trust in him. Why do they put their trust in him? This is me talking. Because, honestly, it's racism. They like the racism, and they want that validated. Indeed, the Republican developed some expertise in this area, running both a fraudulent charitable foundation and a fraudulent university that was designed to rip off so-called students. All this came to mind this morning as the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th attack held its second hearing, which covered a lot of ground, including a review of how Trump and his team used their election lies to separate the then president's followers from their money. Yeah. NBC News reported, committee investigators also traced the money Trump and his allies raised from small donors by stoking election fraud fears, which they said totaled more than $250 million. And while the money was being billed as going to the so-called Official Election Defense Fund, two Trump campaign staffers testified that the fund did not actually exist and was only a marketing tactic. As one former Trump campaign staffer told the bipartisan committee, I don't believe there is actually a fund called the Election Defense Fund. And where, pray tell, did this $250 million go? Some of the money helped pay for Trump's pre-riot rally just south of the White House on January 6th. But the bulk of the money went to the former president's new super PAC. Part of what makes this jarring is the degree to which it's a fraudulent scam wrapped in a fraudulent scam. That's all they got. Trump sucks at business. Okay? If you're a Trumpanzee just passing through to call me a dyke, Trump is a con man. Okay? He's a con man. That's why he took our broken system and latched his rapacious, lamprey-like, parasitic gullet onto it. And he found the most lucrative grift of his life. tickling the fissures of disunity in the American body politic. And those fissures of disunity, unfortunately, many of those fissures are human beings. Well, they're wrapped in human clothing, but they're sick. They're racists. They're morons. It really is just boils down to hatred and racism, most specifically. They're ignorant, and they're looking for somebody to validate that ignorance, because the world keeps evolving without them, and they can't handle it. So, let's see. Trump started with a lie. The election results were illegitimate, and then he added another lie on top of it by telling those who believed the first lie to go grab their wallets and contribute to this fake election defense fund that had nothing to do with defending elections, because the elections didn't need defending. It also created a perverse set of incentives. The moment the Republicans stopped lying was the moment the donors stopped sending him money, which, not surprisingly, encouraged Trump to keep the con going. But there's also a legal dimension to this. Are there laws? Aren't there laws against scams and unscrupulous con men laundering or launching fraudulent scams? I can't talk. What the hell is wrong with me? Representative Zoe Lofgren, a Democratic member of the January 6th committee, was asked about this after the morning's proceedings. It's clear, this is what she said, it's clear he intentionally misled his donors, asked them to donate to a fund that didn't exist, and used the money raised for something other than what he said. She said now it's for someone else to decide whether it's criminal or not. Merrick the Meek. It was against this backdrop that Merrick the Meek confirmed this morning that he's watching the committee hearings and added, I can assure you that January 6th prosecutors are watching all these hearings. Well, they better be doing more than watching. They better be drafting arrest warrants. Unreal. And some of the money, it went to, let's see, where did it go? It went to his hotels. His scam roach motels. His shitty, scammy roach motels. It's just, it never stops. It never, ever, ever stops. So Kimberly Gargoyle. Let's see. Kimberly. 2 minutes. 2 minutes with Kimberly Gargoyle gets you 60,000. Gets her 60,000. Now that is pay to play. Jesus Christ. It's a grift, as Rolling Stone reports. Kimberly Gargoyle makes $60,000 introducing Don Jr. at coup rally. Oh, God. Fuck them all to hell and back. You know what I mean? Fuck them into hell. With Lauren Boebert's sugar daddy account. Well, thank you, Covert White Rabbit, for your super chat. You're funny. Pipe down, beautiful. I still love you. But seriously, this is for Ray's tip jar. Thank you. Little Ray, he was here. Ray. Ray. Where's my Ray? Ray. Where's Ray? Ray. Nobody listens to me in life. Not even the cats. Not even the cats. Everybody treats me like, nothing. I'm nothing up in here. I don't even count. Not even in my own podcast house/house. Podcast studio/house. Oh, God. I do know what you mean. I'm sorry. Do I say that a lot? I guess so. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You bastards. All right, I'm getting out of here. You're pissing me off now. What are you going to say? What am I going to do? I say things. I say, you know what you mean, and you know what I mean, you know what I mean. We all have our verbal things that we say. I live in this world. I can't help it. You bastards. I know my own chat room is turning on me. Oh my God. Look at this. With the fucking thumbs again. Happy birthday, Dad. You look so loving together, don't you? In black and white, too. Donald Trump, for those who are listening, it's a picture of Donald Trump, the head con man, and Donald Trump Jr. con man, standing next to each other, not even touching. Not even touching. With their hands down, just hands hanging down, not even anywhere near touching each other as humans ought to do, as human things. Look. Love you, Dad. Not even touching. Arms. A big thumbs up to my dad. 'Cause, that's my dad. Your daddy hates you. I hate that. I really feel, I hate them all, except for Mary Trump. She's the only redeemable or redeemed Trump. But this guy, Trump is a sociopath. Absolutely a sociopath. He hates everything on earth but himself. And there will never be enough to fill that empty soul, black hole of a soul. That's why he's a greedy little grifter that needs to be like chomp to eating and fucking everything and screwing and power and money, and because it's never enough, because he's a very sick con man. He's a very sick I don't even want to call him a person. He's a sick thing. He's sick. He's like a leech. And he's got the emotional depth of a leech. Now, I don't think that I don't know. Little Donald is a sociopath. He might be. He's a narcissist, no doubt. But I hate him too. He's another piece of dirt who does nothing for life. When these people step off the mortal coil, the world will spin a little lighter. Everyone will have a little bit of more of a pep in their step. Mother Earth will breathe a sigh of relief. So will all her beautiful creatures. Because he's a disgusting person. He's just as disgusting because, what does he do? Even in his spare time, he kills. He likes to kill in his spare time. Kill beautiful things, beautiful creatures who have more value, who bring beauty to the world, more than he'll ever encounter or even amount to. These people are a cancer. They give cancer a bad name. They give cancer I mean, to call them cancer is to honor them. It's to insult cancer. It's like cancer on a leech. That's who they are. Oh my God. I don't know. It's like, whew. But your father will never love you. Even as much as you try to be a vile, disgusting waste of human DNA like him, he will never turn to you and say, I love you, son. He can't even touch you. You are pathetic. Your whole family is pathetic. That is not normal. I'm sorry, you fucking waste of human DNA. That's why they are waste of human DNA. They will never know what it's like to be human. That's why it's never enough of them. Money, money, money. They don't care who they kill. They don't care who dies. They don't care if democracy dies. They don't give a shit if they would dig up the bones of George Washington and shit down at George Washington's neck. God damn it! If they could get $1, they would rape Betsy Ross's corpse on Flag Day. I mean, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Am I saying anything that's not true? You know it. If they said, Donald Trump, will you please dig up Betsy Ross and rape her corpse on this beautiful Flag Day, and we'll give you $1 million? Of course he'd do it. Because that's all that matters to these wastes of human DNA. Humping a flag. Don't give me a thumbs up. I mean, thumbs up. Everybody. Is that all? That's it. That's your love. That's the biggest loving, most loving gesture. Thumbs up. Dad, love you. Holy shit. Am I saying anything that's untrue? Anybody? My God. Oh, my God, why have you forsaken me? Okay, Lauren Barber. Let's get back. Look, I mean, it's pathetic. Pathetic. Thumbs up. Why is it in black and white, too? Pathetic. Oh, look, the only president. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Please get me out of here. Somebody if anybody in Ireland is listening at this point. Anybody. I don't care. I'm coming over. Make room. Contact me. But first, become a patron at patreon.com/Tarabuster. I'm just kidding. Look at this fucking tweet. The only president to give his salary. You stupid dirtbag. And the only president I truly felt safe and protected. I miss him so much. You must be a moron. Angie Dorham. Oh my God. These people. I have high doubts that this is a real person, of course. Because who could be that dumb and pathetic? But somebody doesn't like. I'm looking at her Twitter feed. She doesn't like Bill Gates, that's for sure. Wow. Wow. You feel safe and protected. Well, you are very sad, honey. You're very stupid and sad, and honestly, I feel sad for you. But I also hate you. But not to, I mean, I want you to get, that's why I want Medicare for all, because I want you to get the help you need. You feel safe and protected by a bunch of grifters. Because why? Who are they protecting you from, moron? Is it the gays who want you to read books that they're banning, that Republicans are banning? Or are gay people that exist? Or trans people? Is that it? Or is it all those Black Lives Matter people who are rioting all over, right? You're feeling you feel you need protection from fucking fantasy land. I'm sorry, that's why Republicans are evil, because they appeal to the idiots of this country. They practice political malpractice. It's political malpractice. What am I saying? It's political malpractice. Because all these people are out there in every country, but you don't tickle their manias. You try to make a world that is nice and beautiful and, belongs to everybody. Protect them. Where do you live, fucker? Because a lot of people don't feel protected going to school. They don't feel protected going to a concert, going to a movie, going to wherever. Oh my God. Elon Musk. I gotta get out of here. All right. Help me, Lord. Somebody help me. Yes. Let's see. I'm just looking at the Lauren Boebert tweets. What else? If I missed anything. Oh, shut up. People are like, this person writes, getting an abortion doesn't mean you're a whore. No, that's not what makes her a whore. Being a paid sex worker makes her a whore. Right? And also the fact, she says, don't go after Lauren Boebert by being a misogynist. That's not being a misogynist. She's a hypocrite. She's a misogynist. Oh, God. God help me. Heidi Cruz just learned her husband knew Lauren Boebert when she was a sex worker. Oh, what? Heidi Cruz has no integrity either. Who cares? Nina Turner tweets, if Lauren Boebert actually did have 2 abortions, I'm glad she had access to safe, legal abortion services. Absolutely. Every person should have that freedom and safety if they so choose to have an abortion. Oh, this is good. It's going to get better. Hopefully it'll get better by tomorrow, and there'll be more. More will be revealed. It's going to be good. Next, take on perjury traitor Green. Let's see. Here's Lauren Boebert doing her job, right? Let's watch.
Like the American Rescue, Washington politicians are addicted to spending. We don't have a revenue problem. We have a spending problem. And this addiction, like the American Rescue Plan is causing, is similar to Parmesan cheese and Hunter Biden. Thanks, and I yield back.
Oh my God. What a piece of shit she is. Washington politicians. This is This is all the Republicans are. Oh, I feel safe. That's all they are. They're walking trolls. Send Lauren Boebert back to sugardaddymeat.com.
Washington politicians are addicted to spending. We don't have a revenue problem. We have a spending problem.
Oh, my God.
And this addiction, like the American Rescue Plan is causing, is similar to Parmesan cheese and Hunter Biden.
What the fuck are you talking about, you dumb bitch? But why is she always angry? You know what I mean? For somebody who so loves America, you think she'd be high on those stars and stripes? Washington politics is an addiction, like Hunter Biden and Parmesan cheese. It took me a long time to come up with that, because I am it took me three times to pass the GED. Why are you so... And you know what? She's got this bitch face, too. She has a face that is the definition of resting bitch face. Washington politics, right?
Addicted to spending. We don't have a revenue problem. We have a spending problem.
Shut the... Oh, my God. Guys, I gotta get out of here. I'm so... Everybody's pissing me off. Who just tweeted it's fake news? Bobo. Oh, she did? Yeah, because she learned from her thumbs up guy. That's what she learned. To call everything fake news. But wait till the videos come out. Right? Because the receipts are coming. Fact check, not true, fake news, 4 Pinocchios. Also, y'all need Jesus. Yeah, okay, honey. Is that Lauren Boebert? Wait, there's a picture of her with a bunch of guys with, like, their junk almost falling out of their pants. Is that her? Fact check. Might not be her. That's her. That's her. That's her. Where's her? Let's see. Ted Cruz. Was he? Oh, the memes are coming fast and furious. This is a good one. That's the best so far. With Lauren Boebert in her sexed up outfit and Madison Cawthorn in his women's lingerie. I'm going to retweet that. That wins. Look at that. Australia marks 25 years since worst mass shooting. We couldn't even make it a day. Ted Cruz is an American hero and patriot. On January 6th, we're both going to be fighting for freedom. Did you give him the senator discount? Someone asked. Oh, this is going to be good. I love it. See? Okay. It's going to be fun. Oh, look at this. It's all coming out. All right. People are like, are you doing bachelor parties too? Wow. Yeah, look, before Ted Cruz, she struggled to feed her husband and 4 kids. After Ted Cruz, she debt-free, uneducated congresswoman making $174,000 a year. Husband makes $450,000 a year as an oil consultant with 0 experience. God bless Republican Jesus. All right, it's going to be fun to watch. All right, guys, listen. Hunter's laptop Parmesan cheese. Thank you all for hanging out tonight. Thank you, Ron Placone. for hanging out on Tarabuster. On this wonderful best show that ever existed on YouTube/Earth. I don't know. That's what I think. If you feel like supporting the liberal media, do it on patreon.com/TaraDevil. And thank you so much for hanging out. And remember, you know what I mean? We will win. We will win. Because we're on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, and democracy. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out. My name is Tara Devlin. We stick together. We win. And I'll see you, I don't know when. We'll have to see how I feel. Because I'm kind of pissed off right now. But whatever. I don't know why. I'm salty. But I'll see you soon.